Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever been in, say, a high-tech sports bar? Or maybe one of those really sophisticated home theaters? You see dozens of screens, right? All huge, crystal clear, showing different things, live sports, movies, maybe gaming feeds. And you think, how on earth do they manage all that? Getting different sources to the right screens, all in perfect HD, no glitches. Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. We're looking at a really fascinating piece of gear. It's the WolfPack 4K 60Hz 8x8 HDMI Matrix Switch. Bit of a mouthful, I know. It also has HDR, separate EDID and audio, and apps control. Our mission here for you is to really break down what this thing is, what makes it special, and honestly why understanding this kind of tech gives you a shortcut. A shortcut to grasping, these complex multi-display AV setups. And to do that, we've gone deep ourselves. We've looked at all the product details, the features, specs, professional insights, all straight from the source, the product page. And what we found, well, it really shines a light on how these devices solve some tricky problems. So let's start with the basics. What is an HDMI matrix switch? Think of it like a central command center for your video and audio. It takes multiple inputs, could be a game console, Blu-ray player, maybe a streaming box, and it lets you send any of those inputs to any of your screens or outputs. This specific WolfPack model, the 8x8 one, it routes high-def HDMI audio and video from any of its 8 HDMI sources to any of 8 different displays, all over standard HDMI cables. That means, well, incredible flexibility. You could send any 4K 60Hz input to any 4K 60Hz output, or maybe push the same input signal out to all 8 screens at once, or really any combination you need.
Yeah, and that 8x8 configuration, that's the key part. It really opens up a massive range of possibilities for the user. We're not just talking a few preset options. The source material actually mentions this, gives you thousands of input and output combinations.
Thousands, wow.
Right, and that level of dynamic routing is absolutely essential for places where you need to change content quickly across lots of screens. Think about those sports bars again. You might want, 3 different games showing on different groups of TVs, or maybe push one big live event to every single screen for a crucial moment. That's where this shines.
Okay, and when we talk about high definition, we're not just talking standard HD anymore, are we? This is where the tech specs get really interesting, especially around display quality. This switch supports some serious video standards. We're talking 4K resolution at 60 Hz. And importantly, with 4.4.4 chroma subsampling.
Which basically means you're getting the purest, most uncompressed color information possible. Every pixel super vibrant.
Exactly. And it handles HDR2 high dynamic range. That gives you much better contrast, deeper colors.
Yeah.
It specifically mentions formats like HDR10 and HLG. Plus, it's compliant with HDMI 2.0 and the latest copy protection, HDCP 1.4 and 2.3. It even supports those slightly different cinema resolutions like 49:6 by 2160 alongside the standard 3840 by 2160. Oh, and full 3D support, if that's still your thing.
And stepping back a bit, the mention of Advanced Color Space Conversion, or CSC, supporting the full HDMI 2.0 18 GBP spec, including HDR, that's actually huge. This isn't just about resolution, it's the underlying tech making sure those rich colors and the dynamic range of modern 4K HDR content, that they're delivered perfectly. Flawless.
Well, it makes the picture look amazing, basically.
Essentially, yeah. By supporting these advanced standards, this matrix isn't just, keeping up with today's content. It's kind of future-proofing your setup. It makes sure you see the movie or the game exactly how the creators intended for years to come.
Right. Now, anyone who's ever tangled with a complicated HDMI setup, they know the pain. Screens flickering when you switch sources, resolutions getting messed up. It's frustrating. So how does a switch like this go beyond just routing signals? How does it actually solve those headaches?
Yeah.
Especially around, signal integrity and this thing called EDID management.
Yes. Those issues are definitely common. And this WolfPack switch seems engineered specifically to tackle them. First off, it boasts quick switching without flashing. That's a big one. It does this by presenting the EDID, that's the Extended Display Identification data. Think of it like a digital ID card for your screen. It presents an EDID that represents all the connected displays.
Okay, so the source doesn't get confused.
Exactly. It stops the source device from constantly trying to readjust its resolution every time you switch. That's what usually causes that annoying flicker or black screen.
Makes sense.
And second, it performs signal regeneration. Think of it like a digital tune-up for the HDMI signal. As the signal passes through the matrix, it's not just relayed, it's actively processed. The documentation says it's retimed, level compensated, its phase error is corrected, and any data jitter is eliminated.
Wow. So it cleans up the signal.
Precisely. The output is described as a regenerated, brand new, perfect HDMI signal. like it's coming straight from the source, which is really critical if you've got long cable runs or just a complex system where the signal might normally degrade.
So it's like a smart handshake manager and a signal cleaner all in one. Ensures everything talks nicely. But what about mixing gear? Let's say your sources are putting out amazing 4K, but you have one older screen somewhere, maybe a 1080p TV in the kitchen. Does it drag everything down to that lowest level, or can you manage that?
That's a really good question, and that's exactly where the user-adjustable EDID becomes so important. HDMI sources and displays, their capabilities can vary wildly. Often, a source device plays it safe. It defaults to the lowest common standard that all connected screens can handle. Might be just 720p stereo sound.
Right, to avoid compatibility issues.
Yeah, but it's not optimal. With this switch, though, there's a separate EDID-DD switch on each input and each output. This lets the user force the matrix to, as the source says, learn the EDID of the lowest capable HDMI display among others to make sure all displays can play the HDMI signals normally. So it's like you're giving it specific instructions. You're telling it how to translate the video signals optimally for your unique mix of screens. Ensures you get the best possible picture and sound everywhere, even with mixed resolutions.
That's pretty clever. Okay, we've covered the picture quality, the signal stability, but what about what you hear? Sound is just as critical in any premium setup. Let's get into the audio capabilities here. It mentions separate 3.5mm audio jacks on all 8 inputs and all 8 outputs.
And that offers some serious flexibility. It's not just passing through the HDMI audio. Having those separate jacks means you can, for instance, embed audio from an external source into your HDMI stream. Maybe you have a specific microphone feed for announcements in a bar or restaurant.
Oh, interesting. So you could add audio in.
Or you can do the reverse. De-embed the audio from the HDMI signal, send it out to a separate high-end amplifier or audio system, bypass the TV speakers entirely. And for that real cinematic or gaming immersion, it supports multi-channel audio pass-through. We're talking high-res formats, HDR audio streams, Dolby Digital Plus, Dolby True HD, DTS HD Master Audio, even Dolby Atmos.
Dolby Atmos pass-through. Nice.
Yeah. So you're getting that truly immersive, object-based sound that really fills the room, makes you feel like you're right there.
Okay, so incredible video, incredibly flexible audio.
Yeah.
But how do you actually control this beast? What does all this power mean for you, the user, in terms of managing the system day to day? This doesn't sound like just a plug-and-play box.
Yeah. No, it's definitely designed for versatile, comprehensive control. The options are pretty extensive. You can manage it using apps, presumably on a phone or tablet. There's a Web GUI, so you can control it from a browser on your network. It comes with a standard 20-button remote control, too.
Okay, so multiple ways right there.
And for the pros, there's RS-232 serial control and TCP/IP network control. That means it can be seamlessly integrated into pretty much any professional smart home or commercial AV control system. Plus, it supports saving up to 10,000 presets.
10,000.
Yeah. Think about that. Setting up for the big game night or a movie marathon or maybe a really complex multi-room business presentation, it could become just a single button press once you've saved the configuration. Oh, and it also has backup ports, 2 COM ports and 2 LAN ports. That points towards reliability, keeping things running even if one connection fails.
Right, built for mission-critical stuff. So let's bring this back to the listener. Why should you care about all these specific specs and features? Because, well, they're precisely what allows this matrix switch to work so well in those real-world places we mentioned earlier, from the high-energy demands of a gaming room or a sports bar where content needs to be switched fast and look perfect, to the kind of precision you need in, say, a data center or a really high-end home theater. But it's not just those niche applications, right? The list includes restaurants, casinos, bowling alleys, fitness centers, even shopping malls, places of worship, nail salons, country clubs, factories, conference rooms, schools. It's a really diverse range.
It is. And zooming out a bit, what this shows is how a robust feature set like this solves very common AV distribution problems across all these different environments. Whether it's making sure every single screen in that sports bar gets the main feed without a single glitch, or routing different presentations flawlessly in a large conference room, or maybe creating different entertainment zones in a big house, its ability to deliver that seamless, high-quality content makes it incredibly versatile. It really boils down to getting the right picture and the right sound to the right place reliably every single time. And this device seems built to do just that.
Okay, now let's touch on the pro side for a minute. The people who actually install these complex systems, and maybe some smart tips for end users thinking about this level of integration. The product page notes this is kind of geared towards experienced AV hardware and software professionals. people who might want to write their own custom drivers for third-party control systems.
Right. And it lists compatibility with a whole bunch of major control systems. You've got AMX, Control 4, Creston, RTI, DTV Game Control, ELNG, Media Switcher, Uncontrol, Savant, Simple Control, Switch It Up, Saviyar Control, URC Control. I mean, it's a long list. It covers most of the big names in automation.
So it plays nice with others, basically.
Seems like it. But what's really interesting here is the specific cost-saving advice they give for end users who want these kinds of whole-house control systems. The strategy they suggest is, well, it's pretty direct. First, they advise you, the end user, to call HDTV Supply directly. They even list a phone number to get a quote just for the hardware, like this WolfPack Matrix Switch, which is listed at $800.
Okay, so buy the hardware direct first.
Then, and this is the clever part, you contact a local third-party control system reseller or installer. You tell them, look, I've already bought the hardware, and you get a quote from them only for writing the control software and doing the physical installation at your place.
So you're unbundling the hardware cost from the programming and installation cost.
Exactly. And the source material explicitly says you usually can save thousands on larger systems by doing this. It's essentially separating the hardware purchase from the integration service to potentially get a better deal overall.
That is a genuinely smart tip, especially for those bigger, more involved setups where integration costs can really add up. But there's a small catch, or rather a caveat they mentioned, right?
Yes, an important one. They state clearly that HDTV Supply isn't certified by any of these third-party control companies. And crucially, HDTV Supply doesn't verify or troubleshoot the code written by those third-party installers.
Okay, so the hardware warranty is from HDTV Supply, but the software programming and integration support, that falls on the installer you choose.
Correct. You're relying on your chosen integrator for that part of the system. However, HDTV Supply does warranty that the basic RS-232 command script included in their user manual works for direct control of the matrix itself, so you have a baseline level of control guaranteed.
Got it. So wrapping this up, our deep dive into this WolfPack 4K 8x8 HDMI Matrix Switch. It really highlights how specialized hardware like this tackles some genuinely complex problems in AV distribution. It's effectively bridging that gap between lots of different high-def sources and lots of different screens and doing it with real precision and control. So whether you're dreaming up a massive home entertainment hub or planning a dynamic digital sign network for a business or maybe a sophisticated conference system, this shows how you can ensure your content gets exactly where it needs to go, looking and sounding perfect every single time.
And reflecting on all this,